Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. So nice to have you all here today with us. Thank you for joining. We'll be starting already now, so hopefully more people will join soon. Today we're hosting our second VVB webinar session about our new assurance platform. We're very excited to introduce it to you today. The whole Gold Standard team has been working really hard on this launch, and we're really eager to walk you through it today. Before we start, I'd like to introduce today's speakers. We have Sol Lee, our Senior Associate Assurance and Review, Giovanna Da Ponte, our Manager Oversight and Compliance, myself, my name is Anna Coglitore, and I'm the Senior Officer Oversight and Compliance. And we also have a group of experts from our assurance team monitoring our Q&A box today, John and Vaishali. So let's get started with a few house rules before we dive into the topic. This webinar is being recorded, as you can see. As usual, we will be posting the recording online on our website. For any questions you have, please use the Q&A box. We don't have the chat today, but the Q&A box is there for you to ask anything. And if we don't manage to answer all the questions today during the session, we will make sure we follow up in the next few days. Let's run through the agenda of today. First, I'll be starting with an introduction about the launch of the new assurance platform and dive into the key features and benefits of the platform. And then Giovanna will be giving us a short recap about the new certification process, which we have introduced a few days ago on Tuesday during our first webinar. In that way, we are all up to speed with what's with the next slides that Sol will be presenting. So Sol will walk us through the new assurance platform. She will talk about the user roles and the key functionalities in the platform and what the journey of a request will look like. We will be playing a couple of demos as well to show you how the platform works and how the different steps of the certification process fit in the assurance platform. And then we will give you as well some practical information about how to access the platform and when as of next week. And in the end, we will have a resources and support slide, and here we will be sharing further information about available resources and how we can support you further. After the presentation, of course, we will open the floor to questions. So please make sure you submit your questions in the Q&A box. And as I mentioned earlier, John and Vaishali are there to monitor the chat, but hopefully we will have enough time at the end of the presentation to answer also some questions live. Let's start with the introduction. Following the launch of the digital SDG impact tool, Gold Standard is now launching a digital assurance platform. The platform marks the next step in Gold Standard's journey towards fully digitalized impact certification. It ensures that the whole assurance process is better integrated, it's more efficient and more user-friendly to navigate by connecting different applications and different users. With this platform, we also aim at improving a Gold Standard certification process while preserving the high integrity that Gold Standard certified projects are known for. As mentioned, the platform will be launching for new project reviews on the 5th of December 2024. So it will be next week, Thursday. With new project reviews, we mean any new review of a project activity that will be submitted via the digital assurance platform. While all the ongoing reviews that have already been initiated before the 5th of December and have been paid for will continue via the current process with the certification body. Let's now look at some key features and benefits that the new assurance platform offers us. First of all, it's a one-stop solution for all projects. It really centralizes all your activities in one place, eliminating the need for fragmented tools and workflows, which means we will have more streamlined documentation. Secondly, it will enhance the transparency and efficiency throughout all the stages of the project. So projects can be tracked in real time, and public consultations are available to users and public stakeholders. The relevant gold standard systems and applications are integrated as well. So you can think of the registry, the SDG impact tool that are connected to the platform. We will have more efficient workflows. For example, the automated notifications about projects and any action required. VVBs can access projects ready for validation or verification. And then there is a possibility to directly upload and manage audit reports and any other supporting documentation in the platform. And of course, the users. So the platform is made for all users. We all have access to the platform. We're talking about gold standard staff, tech, NGOs, project developers, VVBs, reviewers, and any other stakeholder. So this will really enhance the stakeholder engagement. This slide is a bit of a repetition of what I just mentioned, but I think it really helps to visualize what I just mentioned. So I will be not spending too much time on it. But as you can see in the middle, we have the assurance platform. And all around, we have all the gold standard applications, such as the impact registry and the SDG tool, impact tool, and all the stakeholders, such as VVBs, project developers that are connected to each other, and also to all the gold standard teams through the platform. Now I'm giving the word to Giovanna for a short recap about the new certification process that she has presented on Tuesday. Giovanna, over to you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you a lot. It's a pleasure for me to be here today again. And again, this is going to be a very short recap on our new certification process. So first of all, as you all know, we have the first stage, which is the validation and verification done by the VVBs. These are where the VVBs are appointed by project developers to conduct the validation and verification services. This has not been changed. This is as per current process. Later on, we have the design and performance review. This is where this has been changed. This has been updated in our process, and this is where a gold standard appointed reviewer conducts a quality check of the project documentation and also the validation and verification reporting. So an important component that has been also added to the certification process is the global public consultation. And this is applied at the design, performance, and crediting period renewal review. And this is the way we are ensuring that we have a better transparency and also an inclusive feedback throughout the process. Next, we have the certification decision. This is now done by our VVBs. So, and the way this is done is that we have a review of the findings, and the VVB makes the necessary amendments in order to send the final certification decision to gold standard. Finally, we have the issuance of the certification outcomes. This is where gold standard issues the certification outcomes as per existing process based on the decision of our VVBs. So this is in a nutshell again, our recap of our new certification process. Hope it was clear. And yes, and back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Joanna, for the refresher. So I'm giving now the word to Sol. Please show us everything about the platform and yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sil from Gold Standard Assurance and Review Management team, and I'm very pleased to introduce you our new assurance platform. But before we begin, I'm so sorry. I might have to turn off my camera while presenting because I'm experiencing very tricky network issue. But yeah. The key revisions to GS4GG documents and the new assurance model have been discussed already, but I will now focus on how the updated procedures have been translated into the functionalities and features of the platform, and also the key elements which can be relevant to VVB when they perform any actions on the platform in the future. So like Anna just mentioned, this part of the presentation will include video clips that demonstrate the assurance platform and the certification review process within it. And the full video will be shared after the session. Moving on to the next slide, please. So what you see in this slide is the workflow for review requests when audit is needed. So VVB's involvement is required. So each box here represents a request status, which indicates where the request is located within the GS certification process. Also, this allows users to identify which stakeholder, which user is expected to complete their task at given stage. For example, if it's in preparation status, as in the left-hand side, then it means that PD is responsible for this status, and this is yet to be submitted for further actions. For example, in assignment status in the middle, that means that review must be waiting to be assigned to a reviewer by the gold standard assurance team. So this whole workflow is divided into 3 different stages, key stages. Let me walk through these stages in order in later slides. Next slide, please. But first, user roles and key functionalities. VVBs will interact mostly with project developers and gold standard assurance team on the platform. The platform provides permissions and customized interfaces for the users based on the user's role in the certification process. For example, project developers will have a right to create a project request, but VBBs can't. So VBB will gain the access to the requests and can manage them only when assigned by project developers, followed by the relevant functionalities activated on the platform. Gold Standard Assurance team will manage the review process on the platform by assigning the review to a reviewer, communicate the reviewer's feedback with PD and VVBs. However, reviewers will not directly interact with PD and VVB through the platform. Move on to the next slide. First, we will watch a short clip demonstrating how a VVB navigate the platform after logging in.
Let's get started. For existing projects, an account and all project information is already in the Digital Assurance platform. To access the platform, VVBs and auditors should follow the steps outlined in the Assurance Platform User Guide. Once logged in, VVBs will see the following pages: Consultations, My Requests, and Projects. We'll start with the Projects tab. This tab holds the records of all listed and certified projects and programs. VVBs can filter projects by project status or search by project name or GSID. When viewing a project, users will be presented with key project information and a summary of all review requests. Once clicking on any request, a request dashboard will unfold where VVB can view the request information and documents made public. When viewing a program of activities, or POA, an additional tab is visible that presents the POA structure and underlying voluntary project activities, or VPAs. Next is the My Requests tab. For VVBs, this is a key tab where they can view all requests that have been assigned to VVB by a project developer. VVBs can quickly assess the progress of all active reviews using one simple dashboard that shows key request information such as request name, request status, a round of reviews count, assignment status. Requests and associated documents can be accessed within the My Request page or the Projects tab.
So this is the end of this clip. And so for a quick recap, both Project tab and My Request dashboard can be the way for VVB to browse gold standard project and requests. But My Request dashboard, which is customized for VVBs, will display only the requests associated with the VVBs. But what does that mean associated with the VVB? This will start in the stage 1. So moving on to the next slide.
Let's get started.
Sorry. Can you pass forward again? No, go to the next slide, please. Stage 1 is the starting point for VVB's work within the assurance platform. And in preparation status, PD will submit a request and assign a VVB for an audit of the request. Once it's submitted to the VVB, then the request status changed to in audit status in the second box. And the request will appear in the VVB's My Request dashboard, as we saw in the video. The VVB will then task to accept or decline the assignment. An important point to highlight is here is that audit assignment, VVB must only accept audit assignments after receiving a formal contract from the developer for the specific audit request. The new assurance model does not change the way PD and VVB engage with. Audit assignment and VVB's acceptance on the platform is to grant a VVB user account the access to the request and permission to work on the request. But however, this step does not replace the formal audit contract between PD and VVB. Moving on to the next slide, please. This demo is about how a VVB can review audit assignments and confirm on the platform. Let's play the video.
When a VVB is assigned to an audit request, the request status will be shown as in audit, while the assignment status will appear as pending. The VVB can access the assigned request by clicking on the request name hyperlink. Upon assignment, the VVB has the option to either accept or reject the request. If accepted, the assignment status changes to accepted. However, if rejected, the request returns to the PD and the request status reverts to in preparation.
Next slide, please. So once an audit request is accepted, VVB will be granted access to all related information, including confidential documents uploaded on the platform. This will enable them to review all the materials necessary for their assessment. When it's in audit status, both PD and VVB can upload documents onto the request to formalize and update the review requests for the submission to the gold standard team. However, only VVBs can upload the audit report containing the certification decision by the VVB. Also here, essential to note is that the platform is the tool where users can make certification actions and manage documents electronically, but it is not where the audit is conducted. And also, additionally, actions like uploading documents or submitting requests are irreversible. For example, if a wrong file is uploaded onto the request, it stays within the platform. There is no way the files can be omitted from the review request. And also, submission of a request by mistake cannot be undone by the user. Therefore, we urge VVB's careful attention when managing certification requests on the platform. Next slide, please. So the stage 2 is submission of review request to gold standard. When the VVB completes the audit, uploads the audit report, and then submit the review request through the platform, then the status will be updated to completeness check. This is a new step added in our certification review process. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So the completeness check will be conducted by the assurance team before the full review by a reviewer. It is to ensure that the submission is complete, having all the necessary information before they initiate a in-depth review. The first round of completeness check will take 10 working days from the initial submission of a review request. If the submission is considered as complete, then it will proceed to a full review and the status will be changed to in assignment status, while incomplete submission will return to in audit status. If you remember from the previous slide, then in audit status means this will be sent back to VVB and PD to address those issues. And another very important update to our assurance model is to introduce timelines for PD and VVBs to respond when they are asked to address those issues during the certification review. In case of completeness check, 2 weeks will be given for BVB and PD to resolve this issue. Missing the deadline would result in the cancellation of the request, and PD has to submit a new review request. This will again go through another completeness check from the top, causing further delays in the audit review. To support PD and VVB in responding within the timeline, there will be automated notification feature available in the platform so that it can provide status updates at each stage. Moving on to the next slide, please. This video will present how the submission of a review request can be made by a VVB at in audit status. Let's play the video.
When a request is in the in audit status, both PD and VVB are allowed to upload files to the request. However, audit reports can only be uploaded by a VVB at the time of submission of the request. Once the VVB has finalized their audit, they will submit the request with all documentation, including the validation or verification report uploaded into the assurance platform. The submission will trigger a completeness check performed by the gold standard assurance team.
And then if we move on to the next slide, there's also global public consultation happened right after the completeness check. Can you go back to the workflow once again? Sorry about this. Yeah, here. After the successful completeness check, the status updates to in assignment stage. A 2-week public consultation will conducted within the gold standard assurance platform. And this process will run in parallel with the expert review. So existing timeline for the certification review will remain the same. Let's go back to the original slide, please. Yes, this one. So 2-week public consultation will be conducted within the platform for all types of certification review, design, performance, crediting period renewal, and design change certification review requests. Project documents will be available to the public for feedback and for review all those documents. Comments from the consultation will be notified to VVB and PD through platform and also will be considered in the certification review. Next slide, please. Lastly, stage 3. Stage 3 is where the full review of the request will be conducted by an expert reviewer. When the reviewer concludes a round of review, the status will be updated to in-round completion stage, when there are open findings in the review, then this status will be updated to in audit, the request will be sent back to the in audit by gold standard assurance team with the review findings. And then PD and VVB will be asked to address the review findings at in audit status. Here, the review response timeline also applies, but for the full reviews, it's 6 weeks. So 6 weeks of response timeline will be given, and missing the deadline will result in request rejection. And again, PD will have to submit a new request. And once the review is finalized so in case PD and VVB finish or updated the review request in the in audit status and submit the request back, then this will not trigger the completeness check this time, but go straight to in progress so that subsequent review round can be started. Once the review is finalized, then the status will be shown as completed on the right-hand side. And let's move on to the next slide. This is the clip to present how VVB account user can respond to the review findings when the review request has been sent back to the in-audit status. Please play the video.
When there are open findings, the VVB will then be tasked to address the review findings. The request will be pushed back to the in-audit status, and again, the VVB and PD can update the review findings at this stage. Once both stakeholders have formalized their response and the VVB submits the request, the VVB can send the review back for the next round of review, and the status will be updated as in progress.
Next slide, please.
When there are
And this is the last video clip of the platform demo, which is about the global public consultation page. This is not part of VVB's certification task, but just to give you the glimpse of this page, how to navigate and show the VVBs how to browse requests and leave comments and so on. Then please play the video again.
Lastly, we'll look at the consultations page. When accessing the assurance platform, users and public stakeholders can view ongoing public consultations. A public consultation is a new process that will be initiated in parallel with any design, performance, and crediting period renewal review. The public consultation will be open for a 2-week period and allows for transparent and inclusive feedback. At the end of the period, Gold Standard will consolidate the feedback into the first round review form for VVBs and PDs to address. This tab is available for all account users and is open to non-account users, such as the public.
Move on to the next slide, please. So all nice things about the platform, but now the audience might be thinking, okay, but how and when can I get the access to the platform and test it by myself? So here is the address to the new digital assurance platform. And earlier this month, Gold Standard requested all the VVBs active under Gold Standard to provide information to create auditor user accounts. And we have received the response from all the VVBs. Thanks so much for your cooperation. As a next step, login credentials will be sent through email by December 5th, so that all GS approved auditors can get the access to the account by the time when the new request will start uploaded and submitted through the new assurance platform. If you're an auditor but haven't received any information or email, or you're a VVB who wish to add more auditor accounts associated with them, then please contact to vbb@goldstandard.org. Also, for any account-related issue or technical queries, please reach out to our help desk, help@goldstandard.org. Thank you so much for your attention. And yeah, back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Sol. Yes, so I have just one slide. In this slide, basically it's just very quick. We would like to inform you of any resources available that we have to support you in the use of the platform. Starting with the user manual, we have created a user manual for VVBs on the use of the platform, and we also have created a demo. So parts of the demo you have seen now, that Sol was showing you, will be also part of this bigger demo that we are going to share on the website. Together, of course, with the recording of the webinar. Then we have FAQs, frequently asked questions about the new assurance model and management process. And last but not least, Giovanna and I in the oversight team, we will be hosting 3 drop-in sessions in the coming 2 months. This is really for any questions and clarifications that you may need about the assurance model and the assurance platform. So the first session is scheduled on the 17th of December, and then the next 2 sessions will be scheduled in January on the 14th and on the 28th of January. In the coming days, you will be receiving an email with also a link to register to each session, or for each session you would like to attend. And there will be also information on how you can submit your questions that you would like to discuss with us during the session. It will be really important for us to receive questions beforehand so that we can prepare and we can have the right experts on the call with us. And of course, as Sol just mentioned as well, for any support about the assurance platform, please reach out to our help@goldstandard.org. Yeah, now it's time for questions. I'm going to stop sharing so I can look at the questions that we have. Yes, so let me see. I'm going through the chat. I see some questions have been already answered. There is one last question about public consultation. Did I understand correctly that the public consultation will take place after the VVB's audit? And why should the VVB not take advantage during audit from global stakeholder comments? It is quite difficult to assess certain comments after on-site audit is over.
For the first part of the question, we can answer yes, this is happening after the audit when the expert review will start. But about the rationale behind this, I should ask Vikash's opinion on this. Can you jump in, Vikash?
Yeah, thanks. I can answer this question. Yes, that's correct. As you said, Sul, the feedback, public consultation feedback is requested after completion of audit. The purpose is that the completeness of overall assessment is necessary to gather all the views before assessing, before sharing the VB assessment, project development. The comments could be raised on all aspects of the project, which might be addressed by VB audit process itself. So that would lead to a kind of a number of comments that are not necessary to be listed. And as it's the purpose is here to make sure that we can ensure that the completeness of audit is also reflecting in our assessments. So the consultation purpose is here to basically come up with all the details that are available, meaning the project details as well as how the auditor has assessed the particular issue. We do understand that there could be an issue where comments are such that auditor might need to kind of revisit the site or like have further assessment on ground. That is basically what will be addressed as per the issues that are coming in. So I think as the rationale for this decision is to make sure that we can ensure the feedback are requested at the time when all the assessments are completed, so that we can focus only on missing elements rather than entire scope of the review.
Thank you, Vikas. Yeah, so I'll go to the next question then. I'll read out the next question. What about projects under design performance review that are still in the pipeline? Probably not finalized by end of Q1 2025.
I can take this one, two. We do expect that there will be certain projects which are not completed by our certification body, or the reviews are not closed by the end of transition period. For those projects, there will be further guidelines that we will issue based on the status and the number of projects and what are the best possible way to integrate those in the GS platform. Those guidelines will be issued at a later stage. So we do have some plans to manage those projects as well, if there are any, at the end of transition period.
Great, thank you. We have another question about public commenting. Are you going to filter the comments prior sending to the VVB, and how the VVB shall address those comments?
We will be sharing all the comments to the VVB and with the project developer. Should there be any comment which is not relevant to the project, Gold Standard may exclude those comments or clearly indicate to VVB that these comments you can ignore or you don't need to address.
Great, thank you. Another question is about old GS registry. It could mean, as a responsible VVB, we have no information about outcome of the previous validation verification services. 2 weeks to address issues means 2 weeks jointly.
The assurance platform is not replacing the registry. The registry will remain as it is. Whereas, as Sul mentioned during the presentation, VVB will be able to access all public documents even before any assignment is accepted. Once a request assignment is accepted, we will be able to access all the project document along with the history of assigned project, so that you as a VVB have a full view of the project and its history as well as the documents to complete your assessment. The 2 weeks to address the issue means 2 weeks jointly. I'm not clear about the 2 weeks. Which particular 2 weeks are you referring to? If it is about completeness check, the 2 weeks for completeness check response is for both PD and VVB. So as a objective here is like to ensure that all the necessary documents are submitted, information is there. It is not a full-fledged review. So 2 weeks are basically provided to both project developer and VVB to complete the entire set of document and the information that is necessary to initiate the review.
Thank you. I'll go on with more questions. So, is there any doubling of notification provided by the platform foreseen, for example, via email to the focus point of VVB?
VVB focus point will receive the notification along with the auditor. Yes, the notification will be received by all the PD, VVB, and the VVB account holder as and when the project move forward.
Thank you. And how many review loops would you accept according to the new rules? I think 6 weeks per one loop of review.
Yes, like per review, 6 weeks will be the timeline. Number of reviews depends on exact nature of the number of reviews depends on the status of open issues, whether those are closed or not. We cannot predict the exact number of reviews at this stage. That will be different for different project types. But as I said, for each review, once Gold Standard sends back the comment to the project developer and the VVBs, the maximum time that you have is 6 weeks to respond back to us.
Yes, thanks. And another question is about any option to provide an additional clarifying comments for VVBs by specific interface.
That is the feature that we are working on will be introduced in coming year, coming quarter, wherein a interface will be included in the platform itself, where we can ask questions, or PD can ask questions about an ongoing review process. However, the scope of that interface is limited to the general status of the project, not the specific issues that are raised during the review process. If there is a need, then we may request a meeting with the assurance team to discuss any specific issue via the help desk. And going forward, we will also introduce as a kind of way to address issues in an expedited manner, wherein assurance team may also request VB to have a meeting to resolve any issue or to discuss any issue which is lingering for long.
Thanks. And the next question is about global stakeholder comments over a document. How will the VVB know about it? Is there any other platform designed for GSC as well?
Global stakeholder consultation will be done through the platform itself. As soon as the comments are raised, we will get a notification, and also PD will get a notification. Beyond that, the comments will also be included in the review form when the review form is sent back to the VVB. So, with all these different sort of measures in place, we expect that it is unlikely that comments will be missed, or comment will not be seen by the VEB.
Thanks. So there is another question, probably a clarification then. If it's now the VVB who submits all revised documents to the GS reviewer.
VEB is mandatorily responsible for submitting the audit report, like validation verification report, whereas other revised document may be submitted by the project developer or the VEB. However, VEB will be responsible to ensure the documents that are uploaded are actually the documents that are referred in the validation verification report. So from VB and we must do a cross check before uploading the validation verification report to make sure that all the documents are available. All the documents are the ones that are referred and assessed by the VEB. Flexibility on uploading the document is still there, except the validation verification report.
Thanks. We have another question about GS reviews. So what if the answer to the GS review requires more than 6 weeks? Is there any possibility to communicate it through the platform or concede exemptions to postpone deadlines?
There is no such option available as of now. Having said that, it could be a kind of issue which is dealt on case-by-case basis. In those circumstances, we suggest that we proactively reach out to VB at Gold Standard or assurance team or the platform itself to inform. And this could be the scenario, and accordingly, a clear instruction will be provided whether extension is granted or not. However, we suggest that don't take this as a sort of option that is available for VEBs, because the entire process that we have designed is to ensure the predictability and ensure the completeness of reviews and the process is on time. We may not be able to entertain any extension on these requests.
Thank you. There is also a follow-up questions about the GS review. How many rounds will be allowed?
As of now, there is no cap on reviews. Reviews will continue until all the issues are resolved with satisfactory manner. Like in a satisfactory manner to ensure the compliance with the standard requirements and the processes. However, as I said earlier, we are proactively approaching this issue in a way that we can communicate and discuss with the VVBs when the issues are taking too long, like how and what is the possible resolution to expedite the review and close the review on time. Like as I said, there is no cap that's there, but still we would like to basically support VBs in closing the reviews on time and as many as kind of like as early as possible.
Thanks. And then we have one last question for now. If we have a kind of checklist for completeness check.
We do have checklists internally, like we are using those internally, and I think we are going to provide all these checklists as well as the quality assurance quality forms that are going to be used to assess the VB's quality, like the audit reports quality and overall assessment quality with the VBs. Those will be made available as soon as we can create that feature in the platform.
Great, thank you. I think we have gone through all the questions that we have got so far. Last question was posted 5 minutes ago, so I don't see any other question coming in. If you do have more questions, please put them in the Q&A box. But I think, as I don't see more questions, maybe we can we could also close the session already, a little bit before our end. Yeah, so I would like to thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you to Sol, Joanna, John, Vaishali, Vikas, and Laura for your work. We hope this second webinar was very helpful and gave you clarity on the new assurance platform. And as mentioned earlier, we'll be sending you a follow-up email with all the resources and the recordings of the webinars and invites to register to the drop-in session. So stay tuned for that. And before we leave, please, if Laura, can you drop the link to the feedback form? If you could please take the time to share your feedback with us through this link we are going to share with you in a second. It will really be helpful for us to know how we did, what we did well, and what we can improve. So please feel free to share any feedback you have. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining, and see you next time. Bye. Have a lovely day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.